Welcome to the Flat Earth simulation. In this realm, you don't need DMT or psychedelic drugs to go on the wildest trip of your life. On the Flat Earth simulation, okay? On the Flat Earth simulation, every breath is like getting blasted off into another dimension. You see, in the Flat Earth simulation, you can see the world for what it is. In the Flat Earth simulation, what you see is what you get. Because in the heliocentric matrix, there's a filter between what you see and your consciousness, which is aware of what you're seeing. When you look around and you see and feel flat and stationary, in the heliocentric matrix, you have to put that aside. You have to put aside that vivid, crisp experience. And you have to believe in something that they've taught you since you were a child. You have to believe. You have to believe in what they tell you. And it's not like they want you to believe something reasonable. They want you to believe the most bonkers, backwards, batshit, upside down, crazy shit. They want you to believe you're currently upside down. They want you to believe that the universal downward force that you feel, no matter where you are, changes its direction depending on what side of the globe you're on. So if you get on a plane and you travel halfway around the globe to another country, and the feeling of down never changes direction for you, from the moment you board the plane to the moment you get on the plane, to the moment you're flying through the sky for 12 hours on a flight halfway around the globe, your sense of down is always down. If you spill your drink on the flight, you know where it's going. You know which direction you should or shouldn't tilt your cup while you're drinking a beverage on your flight halfway around the globe. Down is down. It's the unfalsifiable globe. It's the unfalsifiable globe. Let's just do a little zoom here. Sorry, I'm free-handing with a tripod in one of my hands. So I'm like half-handing right now. So now, in all fairness, that's not to say that just because something isn't immediately apparent to you, that it can't be true. But at least be reasonable with what you're asking people. Can't see the curve from 35,000 feet. Can't see from 128,000 feet. They tell you that down is actually a relative thing. Down for somebody in North America is up for somebody in Australia. But you can travel around the so-called globe, never feel your sense of down changing direction. Down is just down under your feet. never changes. How do you explain gravity then? How do you explain, I mean, literally a joke of a question. Gravity is a universal downward force. When you put aside the heliocentric religion that was indoctrinated into you through a echo chamber cult of public mainstream schooling, Star Wars cultural propaganda, when you put aside your brainwashing, you can see the world for what it is. You can trust your senses. You don't have to believe that the laws of physics have conspired to deceive you. You don't have to believe that the laws of physics have conspired to... It's funny, they call flat earthers conspiracy theorists. But what greater conspiracy theory than the laws of physics conspiring out of a random, spontaneous Big Bang explosion to deceive our senses so that the obvious flat and stationary nature of our world is actually a round, spinning, globular, upside-down funhouse mirror circus. So what happens is you are taught to believe the grandest conspiracy theory of them all, that the laws of physics, for no reason whatsoever, conspired to trick your senses, to trick all available personal experience and observations. 35,000 feet, you can't see it. 128,000 feet, the Red Bull jump, can't say it. Even though he's on video saying, I could see the curvature of the earth. He actually says that in an interview after one of the jumps, because he did a test jump the day before the real jump. And he only went up to 96,000 feet in the test jump. And right after that, he says, I can see the curvature of the earth from 96,000 feet. Neil deGrasse Tyson says you can't see it from 128,000 feet. So you can't see it. You can't see the curve. You can't feel the curve. But they want you to believe you can. They want you to believe in the grandest conspiracy theory of them all. That the laws of physics, your evolved, so-called evolved sensory perception, the world has conspired, the universe has conspired to deceive your senses. You actually live on a spinning ball. If you read the mainstream cosmology, astronomy textbooks taught in college, they'll talk about how we can't blame our ancestors for thinking the Earth is flat and stationary and that the universe is geocentric. We can't blame them. It makes perfect sense. I mean, as far as our senses are concerned. But it turns out there's a grand cosmic conspiracy. And this conspiracy theory that we're allowed to teach you in class is that your senses have deceived you. And the universe has deceived you. It looks flat, it feels stationary, but God Almighty, it's actually a flat globe. The greatest conspiracy theory of them all. So they put you in this echo chamber cult of consensus where everybody has to believe the same stuff. Anybody who questions it is ridiculed and attacked. And so you believe a filter is placed over your mind. As Morpheus says in The Matrix, it is a prison for your mind to blind you from the truth. And then Neo pointedly asks, what truth? That you are a slave, Neo. And mental slavery. Do we live in a simulation? We might. But maybe there's a difference between a simulation and a matrix. Maybe a matrix is a prison simulation. So do you see the world for what it is? Do leaves blowing in the breeze, or is that something you can just watch and experience directly? Or do you have to put layers of belief between you and what you experience? Forcing your mind into a simulation, calcifying your soul. No wonder people love psychedelic trips. They've been robbed of the ultimate spiritual trip. Who cares about tripping the psyche with your psychedelic trips? Why not trip the soul? And guess what? You don't need psychedelics to trip your soul. You want to trip your mind? Take some psychedelics. You want to trip your soul? Escape the Matrix. And it'll put you on the most incredible trip you've ever been on. I don't know why I just pronounced it bean like I'm Canadian. I just felt like it. I'm not Canadian. Well, I got 48 seconds left on this video. So that's what they do. That's what they do. That's what they do. You don't need psychedelics to put your soul on a spiritual trip. You just need to put down your beliefs, your matrix, the lies they've told you, the beliefs you've swallowed without question, without applying any skepticism.
I travel a lot and I fly a lot and I can see the curvature when I fly.
Okay, so 35,000 feet, you can see it, right? That's what you're saying?
Generally speaking, I can see a slight curve to it, yeah.
Okay, so Neil deGrasse Tyson says that you can't see it at that altitude, so I really...
This really doesn't... We have satellites.
That stuff is flat. That stuff is flat. Don't get me started.